You might not realize it, but the way you sit, stand, or even tilt your head right now could be silently stealing your mobility. After 60, posture isn't just about looking upright, it's about keeping your muscles alive, your joints flexible, and your balance steady enough to prevent a fall that could change everything. Today, we're going to explore how posture shapes the way you move, feel, and age, and what you can do to regain control of your body's natural strength. When we talk about posture, most people imagine it as simply sitting straight or keeping the shoulders back. But posture is far more than a pose. It's a reflection of how your entire musculoskeletal system is functioning. Over the years, tiny changes build up, sometimes so gradually that you don't even notice them happening. The spine begins to curve forward a little more, the shoulders round, the chest tightens, and the neck starts to lean ahead of the body. For someone over 60, these changes aren't just cosmetic, they affect how your brain communicates with your muscles, how your joints bear weight, and even how efficiently your heart and lungs can do their job. If you look back to your younger years, movement was effortless. You could stand up quickly, twist, bend, reach up, and walk without thinking about it. But after 60, you may start noticing stiffness in your hips when you get out of bed, tightness in your back when you sit too long, or perhaps a feeling that your balance isn't quite what it used to be. These aren't isolated issues. They're signs that your posture and mobility have started to drift apart, each quietly influencing the other. Poor posture reduces mobility, and reduced mobility makes it harder to maintain good posture, a slow, circular decline that creeps up over decades. One of the most interesting things about posture is how deeply it's connected to your nervous system. Every joint in your spine sends feedback to your brain, helping it understand where your body is in space. When the spine is aligned properly, this communication is sharp and efficient. But when the spine becomes hunched or misaligned, that feedback gets distorted. It's a bit like trying to balance with your eyes closed. Your body struggles to find stability because the signals are fuzzy. This is one of the reasons why older adults with stooped posture often develop unsteady gait patterns or find themselves tripping more easily. Let's take a simple example. Imagine someone who spends most of their day sitting, often leaning forward slightly over a phone, a book, or a laptop. Over years, the head starts to move forward relative to the shoulders, and this shift means that instead of the head being balanced over the spine, the neck muscles must constantly contract to hold it up. It's a small but continuous strain. The upper back muscles weaken, the chest tightens, and breathing becomes slightly shallower because the ribs can't expand fully. These mechanical shifts don't just stay local, they spread through the chain of movement, eventually affecting walking, balance, and even digestion, because posture affects how internal organs are positioned and how blood flows through the body. I once worked with a man in his 70s who had spent his entire career at a desk. He came in because he was struggling with shortness of breath and lower back pain. When we looked closely, his posture told the story. His chest had collapsed slightly inward, and his head leaned forward several inches past his shoulders. When he tried to take a deep breath, he physically couldn't expand his lungs fully. The diaphragm, which sits just beneath the lungs, couldn't move efficiently because his spine was curved in a way that compressed the space where it should move freely. The issue wasn't just about breathing exercises, it was about unlocking his posture so his body could work the way it was designed to. This is where mobility plays such a vital role. Mobility is not simply the ability to move, but the freedom to move without pain or restriction. And this freedom depends heavily on posture. A flexible, upright posture allows your joints to distribute weight evenly, your muscles to engage correctly, and your nerves to send clean signals. But when posture deteriorates, muscles start compensating, some working overtime while others become dormant. The body adapts, but those adaptations come at a cost: stiffness, imbalance, and a gradual loss of confidence in movement. There's a subtle but powerful link between posture and confidence as well. You might notice how people who stand tall often appear more energized, more alert, and even younger. That's not just perception. When the body is aligned, it can use oxygen more efficiently, circulation improves, and energy levels rise. On the other hand, when posture collapses, energy drops, and fatigue becomes more common. Many people in their 60s and 70s begin to feel tired after short walks or brief periods of standing, not realizing that it's not simply age. It's the way their posture is forcing their body to work harder for basic movement. The effects also extend to balance. In younger years, the brain constantly recalibrates balance through information from the eyes, the inner ear, and sensors in the muscles and joints. But when posture shifts forward, the body's center of gravity changes, and this coordination becomes less reliable. You might start noticing little stumbles or moments when turning quickly feels unsteady. It's not clumsiness, it's the brain trying to manage a body that's no longer aligned with its design. Falls become one of the biggest risks past 60, and posture is one of the hidden factors behind that. It's fascinating how posture affects even the most automatic systems. For example, standing or sitting with a slouched spine can compress the abdominal cavity, affecting digestion and the efficiency of the gut. Circulation can slow, making it harder for nutrients and oxygen to reach tissues. Even the lymphatic system, which helps clear waste products from the body, depends on movement and posture to function properly. When posture restricts these systems, toxins and fluids can accumulate, leading to swelling, inflammation, or that persistent sense of heaviness in the legs that many older adults experience. The good news is that the body remains remarkably adaptable even later in life. With the right awareness and daily effort, you can retrain your posture, rebuild your mobility, and regain confidence in movement. It's not about rigidly holding your shoulders back or forcing yourself to stand straight all day. In fact, that can cause more tension. It's about learning how your body naturally aligns and gently guiding it back to balance through consistent movement. Take walking, for instance. Walking isn't just exercise, it's one of the best ways to reprogram posture. Each step involves a complex dance between your feet, knees, hips, spine, and shoulders. When done mindfully, walking helps reset your alignment. Focus on keeping your head level, your gaze forward, and your arms moving naturally with your stride. Over time, this small daily act trains your brain to maintain a more upright posture, not just when walking but throughout your day. Stretching and mobility work also play a vital part. Tight chest muscles and hip flexors are among the biggest culprits behind poor posture. These muscles shorten from years of sitting or leaning forward, pulling the body into a forward, folded position. Gentle stretches that open the chest and lengthen the front of the hips can make a surprising difference. You might start noticing that breathing feels easier, standing taller feels more natural, and your movements become smoother. The key is consistency, small, regular changes that gradually reprogram how your body moves. One thing I often remind people of is that posture is a full body responsibility. It's not just the spine or the shoulders, it's the feet, the knees, the hips, even the way you hold your head. If your feet collapse inward or your knees rotate slightly, that change can travel all the way up the chain to your neck. Everything is connected. When one joint loses its proper alignment, another has to pick up the slack, and that's where chronic tension starts. Understanding that connection helps you see posture not as a fixed position, but as a living, dynamic state. There's also a neurological aspect worth mentioning. Movement builds brain health, and posture supports that movement. When you move upright and balanced, your brain receives stronger sensory input. This helps keep coordination, reaction time, and even memory sharper. People who remain active with good posture often show better balance and mental clarity well into their later years. It's not magic. It's biology responding to alignment and movement. Think for a moment about how posture influences your daily interactions. When you walk into a room upright, shoulders open, eyes forward, your body language communicates alertness and vitality. When posture collapses, it can subconsciously signal fatigue or vulnerability. This isn't about vanity, it's about how physical health shapes emotional health. A body that feels strong and upright often leads to a mind that feels more confident and capable. And that mental resilience in turn supports physical recovery and motivation to stay active. Let's return to that man I mentioned earlier, the one who struggled with breathing. After a few months of focused mobility and posture work, nothing extreme, just gentle daily practice, he noticed a profound shift. His back felt lighter, his balance improved, and most importantly, he could breathe deeply again. His energy levels rose, and he began walking more, which further reinforced his progress. What changed wasn't just his muscles or spine. It was the way his body and brain communicated through posture. For anyone over 60, the message is simple. Posture isn't just about how you look, it's about how you live. Every small adjustment you make, every stretch, every mindful movement adds up. It's never too late to teach your body how to move well again. The spine may have aged, the muscles may be stiffer, but the nervous system retains an extraordinary ability to adapt. By restoring posture, you restore movement, and by restoring movement, you restore independence. So when you stand tomorrow morning, take a moment to notice how you hold yourself. Feel where your weight sits on your feet, where your shoulders rest, where your head aligns. These small moments of awareness are powerful. They're the first steps to retraining a lifetime of habits that slowly pulled you forward. With time, you'll find that walking feels lighter, standing feels easier, and your confidence in movement returns. Not because of youth, but because you've given your body back its natural freedom to move the way it was meant to. Posture, in the end, is a quiet teacher. It reflects how well you've cared for your body over time, but it also offers a way forward. Every breath, every stretch, every conscious movement is a message to your body saying, I'm still here, I'm still learning, and I'm still capable. And for anyone past 60, that message may be the most powerful medicine of all. When you start rebuilding posture after 60, something fascinating begins to happen beneath the surface. Your muscles, which may have grown weak and dormant over years of inactivity, slowly begin to wake up. The small stabilizers along your spine, your hips, and your ankles start to engage again, almost as if they're remembering their original purpose. These are the unsung heroes of mobility, the deep postural muscles that quietly keep you balanced and aligned without you even realizing it. When they reactivate, it's not just movement that improves, circulation, breathing, and even digestion begin to respond in kind. The body, in its quiet intelligence, starts to reorganize itself toward balance. I often describe it as lighting a series of small fires in a dark room. One by one, different areas of the body switch back on. The shoulders relax and pull back slightly, releasing tension from the neck. The hips start to swing more freely, letting the legs move in their natural rhythm. Even the feet, which may have flattened or stiffened over time, begin to regain their spring. This process doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen steadily. Each small improvement builds on the last, creating a momentum that changes how you experience your body. There's a psychological layer to this recovery too. Many older adults have quietly accepted stiffness or imbalance as an inevitable part of aging. They adapt by moving less, by avoiding certain activities, by holding onto furniture when they walk, or by limiting their outings because of fear of falling. That fear, though understandable, reinforces immobility, and immobility, in turn, reinforces poor posture. It's a self-feeding cycle that can shrink not only physical capability but also confidence. The moment posture begins to improve, even slightly, the entire mindset can shift. Standing taller changes how you perceive your surroundings and how others perceive you. You start to feel stronger again, more stable, more capable of engaging with life. The connection between posture and the brain goes deeper than most people realize. When you move upright and aligned, your vestibular system, the part of your inner ear that helps control balance, sends clearer signals to the brain. At the same time, proprioceptive sensors in the muscles and joints send precise information about position and movement. The brain integrates these inputs to form a detailed map of your body in space. But when posture collapses, that map becomes distorted. The brain receives less reliable data, forcing it to work harder just to maintain equilibrium. Over time, this cognitive load contributes to fatigue, slower reaction times, and even a sense of mental fog. By improving posture, you effectively sharpen the clarity of your body's internal communication system, which has profound effects on alertness and coordination. One of the subtle but profound shifts people experience after restoring posture is an improvement in walking mechanics. When posture is poor, the pelvis tends to tilt backward, reducing stride length and causing shuffling. The knees and ankles stiffen, forcing the feet to bear weight unevenly. This pattern is often mistaken for simply old age, but it's a mechanical adaptation. As posture improves, stride length returns, the hips rotate naturally, and walking begins to feel fluid again. The entire gait cycle transforms from a cautious shuffle into a confident rhythm. With it comes a psychological release. Walking ceases to feel like a chore and becomes a pleasure again, a way of reconnecting with the world around you. It's also important to acknowledge how posture affects internal organs. The thoracic spine, which runs through your upper back, forms the framework for the rib cage. When this area becomes hunched, the ribs compress the lungs and restrict their expansion. The heart also works harder to circulate blood because the chest cavity is less open. Over years, this can contribute to fatigue, shallow breathing, and decreased oxygenation of tissues. When posture improves, even slightly, the diaphragm has more room to move, the lungs can expand fully, and oxygen uptake increases. Many people describe this as suddenly feeling lighter, as if a physical burden has been lifted. It's not imagination, it's the physiology of freedom returning to the chest. In the abdomen, posture influences digestion and organ function in equally tangible ways. When you sit slumped for long periods, the abdominal organs are compressed, slowing the natural movement of the intestines and affecting how efficiently the body processes food. This is one reason bloating, reflux, and constipation become more common with age. By sitting or standing upright, the intestines have more room to move, blood flow improves, and digestion often becomes more comfortable. It's another reminder that posture is not an aesthetic choice, it's a core element of physiological health. For people who have already lost significant mobility, the journey back may seem daunting. But the remarkable truth is that improvement can begin with the smallest movements. Even gentle exercises that encourage spinal extension, such as standing tall and reaching overhead, or lying on the floor and letting the chest open, can begin to reverse years of compression. The spine is designed to move, it responds beautifully to consistent care, and the benefits go far beyond flexibility. The nervous system thrives on movement. Every stretch, every reach, every moment of upright alignment sends a cascade of signals that reinforce neural pathways for balance and coordination. In essence, you're retraining the brain and body to work together again in harmony. I recall one woman in her late 60s who came to understand this process firsthand. She had always been active, but over time she noticed that her movements had become smaller. She found herself leaning forward when she walked and gripping railings out of habit. Her main complaint wasn't pain. It was the feeling of losing her natural rhythm. We started with awareness, teaching her how to sense where her weight rested on her feet and how to align her head over her shoulders. Within weeks, she noticed that her steps grew longer and her balance steadier. Months later, she described feeling 10 years younger, not because she regained youth, but because she regained control over her body's alignment. There's something deeply empowering about realizing that so much of your physical health is still within your influence. Age naturally changes the body, bones lose density, muscles lose mass, joints stiffen. But posture gives you leverage over those changes. By maintaining or restoring alignment, you distribute those forces more evenly, reducing strain and preserving function. It's a way of working with age, not against it. The body becomes your partner again, not your obstacle. We sometimes think of posture correction as a purely physical process, but it's also emotional. Many people carry tension in their shoulders or back as a physical expression of worry or fatigue. The act of straightening up can feel uncomfortable at first, not because the muscles resist, but because the body has grown used to protecting itself. Over time, though, posture work can release those stored tensions. The simple act of standing tall can, quite literally, change your state of mind. It invites deeper breathing, steadier focus, and a calmer nervous system. In that way, posture becomes both a physical and psychological anchor, a reminder that balance begins from within. Mobility training supports this transformation in a practical way. Movements that engage the hips, strengthen the legs, and open the shoulders are especially powerful. The hips, in particular, are central to nearly every form of movement, from walking to climbing stairs. When hip mobility decreases, the spine compensates, often worsening posture. Restoring hip flexibility helps free the lower back from unnecessary strain. Similarly, strengthening the core muscles, not just the visible abdominals but the deep stabilizers around the spine, gives the body a solid foundation to maintain upright alignment effortlessly. Over time, posture ceases to be something you do and becomes something you naturally embody. It's worth noting that posture is not about rigidity. The healthiest posture is dynamic, always shifting, adjusting, and responding to the world around you. When you watch young children move, you see this natural adaptability in action. They bend, twist, and recover balance with ease because their postural systems are alive and responsive. As we age, we tend to lose that fluidity, often mistaking stillness for stability. True stability, however, comes from controlled movement. Encouraging the body to move through its full range safely and consistently restores that youthful adaptability. There's also an important cardiovascular component to all this. Movement stimulates blood flow, and posture determines how efficiently that blood travels. When the spine is compressed, major arteries can be slightly restricted, reducing circulation to the limbs. This contributes to cold hands and feet, swelling in the ankles, or even lightheadedness when standing. Improving posture literally opens these pathways. The heart pumps more effectively, oxygen delivery improves, and endurance increases. It's remarkable how often people notice that after working on posture they can walk farther, breathe easier, and recover more quickly from exertion. Every change in posture, no matter how small, sends ripples through the entire system. Muscles that have been dormant begin to strengthen. Joints that have stiffened start to glide more freely. The nervous system becomes more efficient, and energy levels rise. This is not wishful thinking. It's the body returning to the blueprint it's always had. Even after decades of neglect, the potential for repair remains. The human body, when given the chance, always seeks equilibrium. For those watching, it's important to remember that the journey toward better posture is not about perfection. It's about awareness. Every time you catch yourself slouching and gently correct it, you're teaching your brain a new pattern. Every time you choose to move rather than remain still, you're maintaining the delicate balance between flexibility and strength that defines healthy aging. The process may feel slow, but over months, it accumulates into visible transformation. As we close this discussion, consider this: mobility after 60 is not a gift of luck or genetics. It's a reflection of daily habits accumulated over time. The way you sit at breakfast, how you rise from a chair, how you hold yourself when you walk. These small, seemingly insignificant moments shape the body's long-term trajectory. Posture is the silent architect of aging. When it's cared for, it supports everything from balance to vitality. When it's neglected, decline accelerates quietly in the background. But even in later years, the story doesn't have to end that way. The spine that once bent forward can lift again. The breath that once felt shallow can deepen. The step that once hesitated can regain its rhythm. What it takes is awareness, consistency, and the belief that improvement is still possible. Because it is. The body remembers movement the way the mind remembers language. It never truly forgets, it only waits to be reminded. So perhaps the next time you stand up, take that extra moment. Align your head gently over your shoulders, open your chest, and let your breath fill you completely. Feel the ground beneath your feet and the quiet strength of your spine supporting you. That simple act, that conscious connection to your own posture, is one of the most powerful health interventions available at any age. It costs nothing, but it gives back everything: stability, confidence, and the freedom to keep moving through life with strength and grace. In the end, posture is not just how you hold your body, It's how you hold your years. And the better you hold them, the longer, stronger, and more vibrant your journey will be.